And joining us now is CEO of Regal Media, Todd Smith. Todd, there has been a lot of action on social media after the tragic death of Charlie Kirk in Utah yesterday. What we are now seeing individuals who are being called out. In fact, their jobs are being called. They're being put on blast on social media who may have said something negative about Mr. Kirk. Also, those who have celebrated his death, they're being called out, and some of them are finding themselves resigning from their jobs and or terminated today as a result of supporters of Mr. Kirk coming together and essentially calling to arms on social media, basically saying, look, is this the kind of person you want working at your job who's celebrating another person's death? First of all, are you surprised to see this, Todd?
I'm surprised to see people go that far and contact people's employers to get them fired. I'm not surprised that people are getting fired because every time there's something controversial happens, even if it's not a death, we see people say things and it gets them in trouble. The problem we have as an American society right now is we have selective outrage, selective sympathy, selective unity. We've had people die from all parts of the political spectrum, racial spectrum, religious spectrum. And it seems like when it's not my tribe, it's okay for me to make light of the death or criticize that person's fault. We saw it with George Floyd. A lot of us felt a close connection to George Floyd being from Houston. And a lot of African Americans, we've dealt with police brutality where people want to bring up his past. They want to bring up, oh, he was on drugs, or he died of a drug overdose, not realizing that that type of rhetoric has a negative impact on us. Likewise, a lot of people on the other side are doing it for Charlie Kirk. We have to have empathy for everybody, and Donald Trump is criticizing a lot of the reactions, but he adds fuel to the fire whenever there's a death. When John McCain died, he criticized his record on veterans and health care. I don't remember him saying anything about the lawmaker in Minnesota who was assassinated. As a leader, you need to set the standard. You need to set the standard to where violence is not accepted no matter who the victim is and who the perpetrator is. So when you have that type of leadership, you're going to have that type of reaction from the people. Because if that's my leader, that's the president, he must be saying the right thing. So I'm going to attack my opponent. You're the enemy. So we have too much of that going on. So I have a problem with people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I might not celebrate your life and everything that you've done, but as a Christian, I feel sorry for his family. I don't want to see anybody lose their life. At the same time, that doesn't negate some of the racist things that he said. There's a way to handle it. We can criticize his actions and hopefully dissuade people from following in his footsteps in that regard, but we don't have to celebrate his life. And if you're going to try to get somebody fired, make sure you get other people fired too that are from the other side. When your side criticizes the death of somebody from the left or Black America, have that same energy for people in your tribe.
What about the idea of having, and no one's ever going to follow this, but this is wishful thinking, having a mourning period before people just start piling on? It was the day of his death that many of these celebrations came out against Charlie Kirk. People are saying, well, you didn't give anyone time to mourn or at least pay your respects to his family, his surviving wife, Erica, and his children. Should there be a mourning period? Like, I'm being unrealistic, but I'm asking.
It should be, but there will never be. Social media is creating a lot of division. I've had people tell me from white evangelicals that tell me that everything on their timeline is positive about Charlie Kirk. But if they talk to some of their liberal friends and African American friends, everything about Charlie Kirk is the negative. So the way the world is set up to divide us with the social media. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm one of Trump's biggest critics. I believe heavy is the head that wears the crown. To whom much is given, much is required. You can't have a period of mourning from somebody who doesn't show that type of respect when it's somebody on his bad side that dies. You know what I mean? So he has to set the tone. This is September 11th. I was not a George W. Bush fan. When 9/11 hit, he united the country. I think he had a 90% approval rating because he realized I don't just represent Republicans and people who vote for me. I represent all Americans, and all Americans were hurting that day. All Americans have been hurting for years. It's violence this violence has gone too far. Just it's too nasty. We need a leader that realizes it's not about us versus them. It's about us versus the world. We are America, and you represent all of us. You just don't represent MAGA. You just don't represent Republicans and the people who kiss your behind. You are the leader of everybody. And if you can't lead everybody, brother, then that job is not for you. So I blame him. I blame social media. But like you said, I don't think it's ever going to be that way where we have a sense of a time of mourning. And it definitely won't be that way until he's out of office, because he's going to fan the flames of fury and then get mad when somebody yells fire. Brother, you set the fire. You need to put the damn thing out. We're asking Trump to be a leader, not a clown, not a coward, not a cult leader. Lead the American people through this desperate, controversial time. And if you can't do that, brother, get your ass out the White House, man. Period.
On that note, we want to thank you, Todd Smith, Regal Media CEO. Thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Off the clock.